So this is just a quick little update for December. This is going up on New Year's Eve, I think, but filming it a couple of days before. Just trying to get a few things finished. It's one of those sorts of end of the year things where I've got a lot going on. Haven't really managed to finish anything for over a month. I think the Edward FW190 was the last thing I finished, which was some while ago. It was in November, so it's going on a little bit, but I've got about 5 or 6 projects here that I'm trying to get off of the get across the line. So that's what I'm concentrating now on the way through until first couple of weeks of January. So I've got a bit of time off for the first week of January, so should have plenty of time to finish those things. So there's not been a lot going up. I've got the Condor. First part of that video's gone up, and this is the state it's at now. Just really been held back by these 2 seam lines, which I've almost got to the point that if they're not fixed this time, I'm just going to put a panel line in there and we'll call it quits. But it's been quite hard getting rid of those, and there's been a few complications once I've got to putting the glasswork on. But as you can see, you know, hardest bit's done now. Basically got the wings on, got the tail, the rear horizontal stabilisers on, and all the glasswork is masked up and ready to go. So a good part of the good chunk of the second part's finished. I probably want to get that. It's going on a bit. You might have seen with the first one, it's over an hour long. I didn't really intend it to be like that. I was almost going to break it up into 2 parts, but once we got into the oil part for the interior, it felt like I needed to sort of carry on and see that through, so that's why it ran on to the length. So yeah, it's a nice build, good build. I've got over here, I've just been working on these bits. It's a bit cluttered in here at the minute, it needs a good tidy up. So we've got the engines, so just a few sink marks on those that I'm just letting a bit of Mr. Surfacer 500 fill that, so they're ready to go. Most of the undercarriage is finished as well, so that's all coming together, and pretty much, I mean, all that's left on the sprues, this is all we're dealing with. It's mainly propellers, and that's it. This sprue's pretty much done, so it's just we're on the final rundown, so that's good. So we'll be in the paint with that. I've managed to track down the paints for it as well, so we've got ROM 72 and 73, which are odd colours, they're not used so much. Not so easy to find. I mean, there's no sort of Tamiya equivalent that anyone's put up. I've got MRP ones, they look a bit iffy, and I've heard that they're not so great, so we might have a few issues with those, but I'll push on regardless. And if all fails, I've got Gunzangyo, Gunzi or Mr. Hobby paints to go 4-pack on, which I've given a bad press, which I've given a bad sort of review, so to speak, before, but I must admit that is just the hobby colours. I need to reiterate, because I've brought back into the fold using the Mr. Colour lacquers. Now these are very good. In fact, they're quite the opposite to the Mr. Hobby ones. They're all perfect, they all spray very well, they're like the best consistency you're going to get. Tamiya's probably, you know, the medium average mainstay, and then you'd have Mr. Hobby that would be above that, especially if you're using self-leveling thinners. However, I find the drying time, it's semi-gloss, and it just takes forever, especially with me. I don't know why, it's like 2-3 weeks, I'm still getting fingerprints and cracking when I gloss coat. So I've gone off of using those, but I must admit these Mr. Colour ones, which are the lacquers, just like any other lacquer, like MRP or anything, you've got to thin it obviously, but drying time is 10 minutes, and it's, you know, touch dry. So it's quite good. I've got a few of these, and I've got some of the odd colours, which obviously this is ROM 25, I think, which was sort of nose cone for some of the later Messerschmitts, and 78, and the red and yellow 25, 23, and 04. So that's quite useful. So I brought them back in, and so I might pick up these other ROM colours, like I'm saying, if the MRP ones are a bit of an issue. I have noticed some of their colours actually right across the board are a little bit iffy, so I may mix and match with those. So what I have been up to is the reason I've got so many builds on the go, I've had a bit of illness recently, so I had a couple of days off work and managed to drag myself to bring in a kit here and there just to do in front of the TV to get the day to pass on, and that means I've finished off a couple of projects, started a couple new ones, so I've got some stuff here that I want to finish off. Interesting things like this, you know, the little Airfix Cromwell, fantastic little kit, and put that together in an afternoon. So just getting the decals on there, so that would be nice. The good thing is this will all give quite a bit of content, so these will all make videos whilst we're still bogged down with the Condor. And had a go at Tamir's old Panzer IV-D, which is a real sort of nostalgic kit. So it's one of the first Armour kits I got, so that was nice, just out of box build. So I'm going to finish that one off in Africa Core colours. And I finished off a couple of stored projects as well that I've had for years. So there's quite a bit of Russian armour unusually coming from me. So I've got a T-70 and a BT-5 about to come through over the next week or so. So that'll be quite good. A lot of work's gone on to the BT-5 here. As you can see, a lot of metal work. Back in my comfort zone now with Armour, so I know what I'm doing. So just finished this off today with the hinges and quite a sizable mesh grill there. I've also gone on and used Mr. Hobby, Mr. Surfacer 1200 and stippled it to give a cast texture, because the Russian Armour was quite rough, to say the least. And this is an interesting one because it would run without its tracks. So it's got these big wheels, got 5 big wheels down the side, and it could actually run on those. They were powered, and on hard ground they take the tracks off. So that's what I'm going for. I've just managed to get up a set of pick up a set of interlinking tracks for it as well, which were cheap. Got these in a model shop. I've been to a couple of model shops over the time off that we've had, and done quite well. I haven't actually bought anything. It's all been stuff to add to builds. So like one shop was just a set of tracks that were £5 because the chap knocked them, made them half price. Which are these Bronco BT7 tracks, which is obviously okay for BT5 as well. So they're quite useful. And these were just chucked over the back of the vehicle. So need them to be workable, really. The ones in the Italiari kit are link and length, which are fine and give a good effect for if you're using them on the wheels, but it's a bit difficult. I've got to cut them all up to make them droop over the back. So as you can see with these, they've got very good manoeuvrability. So I've just put those together, so that's finished. So that's one that's going to come through. It's going to be Spanish Civil War, obviously, being a BT5, but the rest of it's all World War II. This was a great kit as well, which I'm going to do a video on possibly tomorrow to get up with you in a couple of days. This is the Airfix FW190 F8, which I've done it as the F8 in winter camo. So lovely little kit. This is no problem at all. Again, put this together in less than a day. Painting was a bit more complex. As you can see, there's a lot of colours on there. So you've got the yellow, you've got the ROM 76, you've got the ROM 25 and the ROM 04 with the yellow and red. And then over the top it's the standard camouflage with white mottled all over it. So an interesting thing. Nice clear canopy there as well, so you've got the bubble canopy. And I did put rivets down this, so I used the Rosie the Riveter tool and added a whole load of rivets, which sort of came out in places and not in others. And open up the gun barrels here by using a bit of Albion Alloys tubing. So nice little enhancements for a little out of the box kit, which was very sort of pleased with, if I'm honest. So like I said, I'm going to get all these off the production line as it is, so to speak, and get them finished, get the Condor up together, so start concentrating on that, and then start rolling on with the builds for 2018. So I've got a few plans. There's a couple group builds I'm going to take part in. So there'll be some nice interesting stuff, and I'm also going to get the big ship, the Graf Spee, on the way. So I'll have that one as a long-term build, and then have these other builds sort of chipping in between when it gets a bit too much with etch metal that I can probably hardly see. So I'll stop it there, and then I'll run through a few kits that I'm planning to do through 2018. So to kick off the 2018 builds, like I said, I got the Graph Speed. I'm not going to get that box out because that's tucked away. So I'm not going to mess about with that. I've shown that before. So that's going to be long term. Parts of that will appear when they're done, and it may take 6 months. It may take the whole year. I have no idea. I've never built a ship, so we'll see how that goes, because it has got everything in it: etched metal, barrels, and a wooden deck. And I'm just waiting on the paints, to be honest. I'm trying to get the paint set from Sovereign Hobbies, and they seem to be out of stock of the whole colour, which they would be. It's the main colour, it's the main grey of the whole ship, so that's the one they don't have. So hopefully something will come from that. So first off, I've got a show with the SIG that I'm planning to do, which is going to be at Bovington, which is early in the 2018, so it's in February. So if you're local, obviously swing on down, say hello. I'll be on the Spanish Civil War SIG. For that, I'm trying to concentrate it being Bovington, and always getting a lot of aircraft with the Spanish stuff. I'm trying to concentrate on the Armour for 2018, so that will predominantly... well, to be honest, it's not going to make up most of the table. Most of the table is still going to be aircraft, because that's what I've got the most of. But I'm trying to do half the table with armour as well. So I've got the Panzer I that you've seen, and artillery as well. So armour and artillery, the ground forces. We're going to have the BT5. I've got a T26 that I want to get finished. A couple other things I'd like to pick up over the year. But for the Bovington show, I'm going to crack on with this one, which was a Christmas present. Obviously picked up a few kits for Christmas, but I won't run through those. This was in Spain, alongside the Panzer ones. There's only a handful. I think there's only 5, I think, or possibly 10, which led up the battalions. So each battalion had one of these. This is an interesting kit. This is I hadn't seen it. I didn't realise Dragon had done one of these. The only way you could get this up until this was released, I think 4 or 5 years ago, is a conversion with the top deck from, I forget the name now, it's an American company. Anyway, it was quite hard to get hold of as well, because it's in America, so it's postage issues for me. So I picked this one up. Not a lot of these about in the UK from what I've been seeing, but this is the initial production, so which is pretty much defined by the fact it hasn't got a cupola, so it's just opening flaps there, doors. This one does have all the bits, it has everything, so you've got the cupola there, which is one of the versions, but it's the initial one that was in Spain, so that's the key, that's the point to, which is the one on the box here, so this is what it's going to be. So that would be quite good, and that's going to be in the camouflage. I don't know if you can see there, but the same camouflage as the Panzer one. So that should be a quick and easy build. This is on the B chassis, where the other one was the A, and again we're still talking quite a small kit. That's the length of it. So shouldn't take too long. The Panzer I that I did flew together, so it's no problem. So I'm hoping this will be the same. So that's one of those. And it's continuing with armour. This was a little stop and filler present, so I'm going to do a very quick video on this. This is one of Svedster's 1/100 scale armour kits, which I think are aimed at designed for wargaming, but they are extremely well detailed, so I'll do a little review on this. And this is snap fit. I mean, this will fall together in probably half an hour, and again, it being the Mals, it didn't have a very elaborate paint scheme. In fact, it didn't actually exist with the barrel. There was a turret like this and a hull, but they were in separate places, so they did make it. It's a hell of a thing, and I think in Russia they've mated the two together to show you what it would be like, so it's in a Russian museum there. But I might do a what if, because obviously it'd be a bit boring if I just do it in the old yellow. So probably something like the box art, if I can get lines down that that thin at this scale. So that'd be good. That'd be a nice quick little build. Then there's a group build kicking off in January, I believe, which is 2 YouTubers. So it's My Modelling World, which is Nigel Wells, and Cohen's channel, which is Armour Modeller, very prolific on YouTube, and they've got a Facebook group, and we're doing the group build all over YouTube. There's loads of people taking part. So I'm going to do this one, which is the Kursk group build. That's the bit I've forgotten to mention, and I'm going to use this one, which I didn't realise was there and this is a kit I've been after for a while. This is the Rifled model Tiger 1, the early one with the panzer-free turret bin, which I don't think you can quite see there, but has quite an odd turret bin. And this represents just a small group of tigers. I think there's only 9 that actually looked like this tiger that you get in this box. However, it had quite a long life. It was kicked off in 1942, and they were sent to Stalingrad for the retreat, to cover the retreat, so the initial batch, and then I think it went right the way through until late 1944 in the Eastern Front. They presumably got knocked out. So an interesting one, something a bit different. You know, it is Kursk. You want to do a tank. You know, there's no more iconic tank than Tiger tank for when it comes to Kursk. But a little bit different with this one in the fact that, like I say, it's one of those odd initials. So it's, before we get into it too deep, because tigers are very renowned for being a bone of contention. This is an early tiger, very early tiger. Like the initials that went to Tunisia and all the rest of it, but just with a few more quirks. So the fact that the panzer-free bin, for instance, is the main quirk. I say that it's not from a panzer-free, but that's what it looks like. So it's a field modification, and a few boxes and stuff on the back, and the fact that it's not got any exhaust shrouds and FIFO filters and all the rest of it. So it does just make for something quite different. So that would be quite nice. Hoping to do a diorama and some figures with that. It's got the full interior. I'm not going to open the engine because there are a few issues around the engine bay on this. However, the rest of the interior is pretty well up together. So all I'm probably going to be doing is opening the hatches. So I'll be looking through like that. I may leave it so you can take the top off if I can make that look like you can. So it doesn't look like the top's going to come off, but it still lifts off. If I can get it as tight to fit as that, so it's like a snap fit, then I'll leave it. If not, I'll glue it all down and open as many hatches as I can. So that's a great little kit. There's a lot being said on this kit all over the internet, so I won't do a review or anything, but you can see got the full interior there, interlinking tracks, hollow guide horn, so everything you need is all in one box. A little bit of etch, and so that's great. So that'll make a nice kit. So not so many aircraft. I'm also going to do a couple aircraft throughout the year, but again, a lot of these stretch to probably June. You know, there's a lot of these group builds are 6 months, so it might be long-term ones. I'm a member on Flory Models, which is you've got to pay to be on there, but it's a great forum, and we're doing a group build. There's a group build happening on there, which is French stuff. So I'm going to do the Deroutine 510, obviously Spanish Republican colours. Something a little bit different. This is quite a kit. It's comes with quite a lot of resin, and as you can see there's a whole lot of resin, and quite a lot of flash as well on the plastic. Very short run, so not sure how that's going to go together. Might give me a few headaches, but we'll see how that goes. So that should be a nice little build, and again something a bit different. And again, I'll do video builds for all of these. And I want to get this one on the go as well, because it's such an old kit, and it's haven't seen many of them about at all, so I want to get this one built up. Again, probably aiming to get this one done for some of the summer shows, or definitely by Telford, have this one on the go, but I'm sure I'll get it up together video wise long before we get to November 2018. I hope so anyway. And then so that's the main bulk for 2018, and I've got plenty of other things I want to try and filter in as well. I've got quite a few Edward Messerschmitt 109s in 1/48 scale, which I like to just do because they're very quick builds to fall together, so I'd like to make a few of those. Seem to have quite a fascination with the 109 at the minute. So yeah, anything like that, a few Airfix kits, 1/72 builds, you might just see them, who knows. And I'll try and keep up with the reviews and try and keep the videos going, but what with work and stuff throughout the year might be a bit up and down, so just stick with the channel, and hopefully there'll be plenty for you to enjoy. So that's it for 2017, just squeezed in a December update there I think, and hope everyone had a great Christmas and have a brilliant new year, and I'll see you in 2018.